They come in on very spurious grounds. They make you mistrust yourself. They make you believe that you are on the verge of very serious trouble and that the best thing that you can do is from this point forward, keep your mouth shut, bite your tongue, as they put it. I think this is just appalling, and I think that people on the left and people on the right and people from the centre should be up in arms and utterly appalled by this. It is an outrage. I remember in my case, when the police turned up at my place of work, they had largely the same tactics. They said that you've been saying things online. You've said a total of 31 different tweets online, but we're only going to tell you one, and that's the so-called limerick that I'd retweeted. And so I was left for several months waiting for a subject access request to come through, wondering what it was that I'd said. Just worried about what I'd said. What could I possibly have said that would bring me to the attention of the police? Because it can't simply be that I retweeted somebody's limerick. It must be something more than that. And they've left you feeling similarly, I imagine, that you just don't know what it is. You've said this is Kafkaesque, absolutely Kafkaesque. Are you going to take their advice, and are you going to bite your tongue?
Well, no. And I've also had the help of yourself and Free Speech Union getting a data access, and obviously we sent our letter to them basically saying, we're unhappy with the way things were handled. But as you know, we haven't heard anything back as of now. But I'm definitely not going to hold my tongue, and nor should anyone on the left, on the right, in the middle. It shouldn't be a crime to think or feel the way you do.
See, I've just remembered that it was Merseyside Police who just 3 years ago were pulling around a large sign down at, I think it was Morrison's, down on the Wirral. A huge, great sign that said, being offensive is an offence. Yes. Well, being offensive is not an offence. Being offensive has never been an offence. And as my judge, Mr. Justice Knowles, rightly pointed out in my ruling against the police, a freedom that does not involve and does not include the right to be offensive is not a freedom worth having. It's as simple as that. Being offensive is not an offence. So I know I gave you a bit of a hard time about some of your Twitter views, but it's simply to make the point that I don't care, and neither should you care, whether people find those views offensive. It is not the police's business. You have the absolute right to be offensive, providing you stay within the law. But I don't think that it's a coincidence that this is Merseyside Police, the offence police, the woke police, who've come at you in effect to check your thinking. Now, you and I had a chat, Mum, earlier about where you asked me whether my experience with the police had radicalised me, and I said, well, it probably has a little bit. Do you worry that their intervention is going to radicalise and harden you?
I can see how that would be a possibility, that it, because it angers people, the way they've dealt with things are just wrong. And my concern more is it turns people against the police, because ultimately the police should have our support, should have the public support, because the job is a difficult job that they have to do. Doesn't mean to say you blindly trust every policeman you come into contact with, but you have to. All our emergency services should have support of the public, and I worry more that it will turn people against the institution of the police and make genuinely good, decent men and women who are serving the country targets of more hate, which that causes a bigger problem than a 19-year-old's views on Twitter. Is the emergency services need the public support.
So it's more counterproductive for police than counter-terrorism police, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Because they could walk out of here and you could sit there, me and Eva could sit there and think, hate the police. Yeah. with something like that.